At the beginning of our story, we see a hand digging in the dirt and finding something resembling precious stones. As we learn later, these stones are actually raw diamonds that are subsequently processed and become full-fledged gems. After this, we're transported to bustling London, where we notice an elderly lady named Laura Quinn sitting in a cafe. She's joined by a guest, a young newspaper reporter named Cassie, who hopes to write an article about the woman. While they talk, Laura pulls out a 168-carat diamond that has 58 facets. Cassie is amazed by all this. She takes the diamond in her hands, and Laura begins telling the story of how she once stole this diamond from a London diamond company and ended up in prison because of it.
You've been in prison, that's where you've been.
After this conversation, we're transported to London in the 1960s. Laura is a young businesswoman heading to work. She enters the building of the London Diamond Corporation, where she works as a manager in the company. She greets an elderly janitor named Mr. Hobbs. And later, we see a man named Mr. Eaton, followed by two men with small carts. They head down the corridor to the vault where the precious stones are kept. Eaton opens a huge door with 3 locks, and they load the carts with diamonds, then later transport them to tables where other workers will check the stones for defects. At this moment, a large crowd of protesters gathers outside, demanding a stop to diamond mining because many people are dying in South Africa because of it. The protesters' attention is drawn to a car containing the company owner known as MK and his son Ollie. When they arrive at the office, the director and employees are already waiting to discuss the latest news about 100 miners who died in the African mines. Laura informs MK that the Russians will likely sever relations with the company due to negative press coverage. Then they'll seize the market and push English diamonds out. When everyone is about to leave, MK announces the appointment of a new managing director who will be Peter Bolin. Laura is upset because she wasn't chosen. The company won't break tradition and will always appoint only men. She opens a letter lying on the desk that states there are 1,223 male directors in their company and 0 women. After this, she tears up the letter and writes a new one with the words, "Don't give up." Later, janitor Mr. Hobbs enters Laura's office. He notices she's working late again and tells her that, in his opinion, people should be bold and take what they want. He quickly tidies up, wishes her luck, and leaves.
Good luck.
After this, Laura leaves the building and walks home as usual. There she thinks about work again, but at one point she takes the diamond out of her ring and examines it, then later puts it in a cloth along with her earrings and puts them away. The next day in the director's office, she presents a plan for keeping their company in first place, and he likes it. After this, in the corridor, Laura meets a man named Harold Reynolds, whom she met at Oxford University. He gives Laura his business card and offers her a job at his company. The next morning, she finds her inspirational note with a negative response written below it. She also finds a movie ticket with the showtime indicated on the back. Curiosity gets the better of her, and during her lunch break, she goes to the cinema. When Laura enters the movie theater, Mr. Hobbs appears and suggests they sit together. It turns out he's been reading her letters from the trash.
A diary of frustration.
Laura loses patience, but the man says he overheard the director's conversation about her job ending soon. He proposes a plan to steal enough diamonds to get rich, but not enough to be noticed. The woman isn't sure whether to believe it or not, but warns Hobbs that he'll never get away with it, and leaves. The next day, Laura decides to verify Hobbs's information. She goes to the secretary, distracts her, and finds the document about her dismissal after all. She's shocked. Then she decides to schedule a meeting with Harry Reynolds after all. When Laura arrives at the restaurant, he tells her that his company can't offer her a job because she's incompetent. It seems her diamond company has spread bad rumors about her. That same night, the girl falls asleep on the couch and has a terrible dream about security guards at work, catching her trying to steal diamonds from the company. The next evening, she goes to the Greyhound races to find Hobbs. There, the woman asks him how he can rob the company, and Hobbs tells her he has a plan. He also says he'll be fired in 6 months, which is exactly why he wants to rob the company. In the man's apartment, he explains everything he's thought through.
You intend to go for the vault?
That's where the diamonds are.
You can't be serious.
Once, when Hobbs was cleaning the director's office, he found a note with codes under the desk. but a month later, it was gone. Hobbs assumes he now keeps the codes at home, not at work. The vault codes change weekly, which is exactly why he'll need Laura to find records of how to open the safe. Hobbs tells the girl that when she goes to the event to entertain the Russians, she'll have to find the codes at MK's house. He also explains to her that he'll be able to take all the diamonds they need in his thermos, so they can both retire comfortably for the rest of their lives.
Would £1 million do?
Each?
I should think so.
They wouldn't even notice that much.
They'll be able to earn approximately £1 million each. The company won't even notice such a loss. On the night of the event, Laura is introduced to Dmitriev, who heads the Russian Diamond Authority. Dmitriev ostentatiously pours diamonds into her hand, then invites her to dance. After the dance, she goes upstairs to MK's office to find the security code. At this moment, Laura hears footsteps and quickly hides. The director enters the room. He opens a small safe, and the girl watches him and memorizes everything needed to open it. As soon as the man leaves, she opens the safe and finds the security code. The next day, we see Hobbs tending to his wife's grave, then heading to work where he meets Laura, who hands him a letter.
I want to know every last detail. Understand?
Okay.
On her way to her office, Laura sees a man installing surveillance cameras in the corridor. Later, she meets Hobbs and informs him that 8 surveillance cameras are being installed. She tells him the cameras turn on and off for 60 seconds at a time. He assures her that 10 seconds will be enough for him to enter and exit the vault. After the conversation, Hobbs returns to work. He mops the floor in the security room and sees monitors displaying camera footage. He times the interval between image changes, then leaves to begin his plan. In the supply room, he looks at his stopwatch and makes his move. Watching the running hand, he runs to the vault and enters the code. Meanwhile, Laura calls the security room to distract everyone and give Hobbs a bit more time. But the phone doesn't work. She sees the cord is torn. So she runs to another phone booth, and at this time, the janitor looks at his stopwatch again and then opens the vault. He's very lucky because the guard isn't looking at the camera at that moment. Laura manages to call, and the guard is distracted. The janitor enters the vault and sees a pile of diamonds before him. He fills the thermos, looks at his stopwatch, and exits, managing to disappear from the camera's view. The next morning, Laura watches Hobbs and sees him leaving work, but one of the clerks calls him back inside. But, as it turns out, Hobbs must unlock the bathroom before leaving. After this, the man finally returns home and pours tea from the thermos into the sink at home. But, unfortunately, there are no diamonds there. The next day, all the diamond sorters go home. Laura goes down to the lobby and finds Jameson in a panic. She immediately goes to the ladies' room, and at this moment, Mr. Eaton calls her to show her the vault. When she enters, she can't believe her eyes. The vault is empty. Mr. Eaton shows a man named Finch the building plans, telling him that the only way into the vault is through the door. There were 2 tons of diamonds in the vault. It would have taken several trucks to remove them. Later, MK tells the entire management that there will be no police investigation because publicity will destroy the company. Sinclair introduces Finch as the lead insurance investigator. Laura blames Hobbs for everything in the lobby, but he assures her everything is fine. Later, the girl goes to MK's office, and we see a man named Boyle sending a letter to MK regarding the purchase of some inventory. Apparently, Boyle doesn't know his client's identity or the letter's contents. At this moment, the man is called for a phone call, and while he's gone, MK reads the letter, which says the diamonds can be bought back for £100 million sterling. Before leaving, Boyle hands a small package to MK. The man opens the package, which contains a huge diamond known as the South African Star. Later, Finch asks Laura several questions and notices she's very nervous. The next morning, Laura suggests to Jameson that he work with Finch to help with his investigation. The girl finds Finch, and they go down to the vault together. He tells her that the surveillance cameras aren't very secure because of the 60-second time gap. Finch also explains that there was no break-in. She suggests that the thief must have known the combination. After this, we see insurance company director Sinclair offering MK a check for £5 million to buy enough diamonds to continue trading. But MK wants all the diamonds back right now. When Finch suggests that MK's son, Ollie, might be involved in all this, The man loses his temper and threatens to ruin Sinclair if he doesn't pay the ransom. After all, under such circumstances, it's fraud and the diamond company won't receive any insurance payments. Later, we see Hobbs in an underground channel. Laura tells him they must return the diamonds and make a deal because they won't be able to sell them. It will expose them. But Hobbs explains that's exactly why they're asking for ransom. Later in her office, Laura is looking at the building plan when Finch enters to take her fingerprints. He says it's just a formality. Then the man asks her to accompany him while he questions Hobbs. Finch asks the man various questions. At this moment, our detective's assistant enters, calling him away. Before Hobbs leaves the office, Laura tells him they'll have to negotiate or they'll go to prison.
This time tomorrow morning, this will all be over.
After this, we see Finch looking at Laura's fingerprints and comparing them with some from MK's house. And they also find a photo taken during the dog races showing Hobbs and Laura. In her free time, Laura opens Hobbs's locker to find the key with the diamonds. But there's nothing. Later, she joins Finch for a drink at the neighboring bar. Journalists arrive at the London Diamond Building after Sinclair warns them that the diamonds have been lost. Sinclair's chairman, Sir Godfrey, tries to hold back the press. And when MK descends the stairs, he has a heart attack. He falls to the floor and dies. Back at the bar, Finch asks Laura how she managed to take all the diamonds, but she assures him she's not that clever. At this moment, Finch is informed about the heart attack and he leaves. In the ladies' room, Laura drops a diamond from her earring into the sink drain. She pulls out the pipe from underneath and suddenly realizes how Hobbs must have taken all the diamonds. Laura takes a flashlight and enters the underground drainage system. As she walks through the tunnels, Hobbs appears with a flashlight. She threatens to expose him, but the man points a gun at her and says she'll stay here. Laura knocks the gun out of his hands and then runs through the tunnel but trips and falls. Then we see a huge diamond on the floor, which she puts in her pocket. Hobbs tells Laura that his wife's cancer could have been removed, but the insurance company made her wait too long for surgery. By that time, the cancer had become too aggressive. Sinclair was the insurance company chairman at that time who delayed the operation. And so, Laura understands that Hobbs is taking revenge on Sinclair. The man tells the woman that Sinclair took away the only thing he truly loved. After this, we see Godfrey informing Sinclair that he's agreed to pay the ransom of £100 million sterling. Sinclair goes to his office and shoots himself. Laura tells Hobbs how she dropped the diamond in the sink and then figured everything out. Now we see flashbacks of how Hobbs periodically transported all the diamonds from his work cart to his workshop. Boyle receives a message that the ransom has been credited to the account, but the note showing the diamond's location is blank. After this, we see Hobbs pouring diamonds into the sink, and the South African star was actually at the bottom of the toilet that Hobbs was asked to clean. Now, the man points the gun at Laura and pulls the trigger. To her surprise, the gun wasn't loaded. He tells her it doesn't matter now, because the money will be paid. The man turns off his flashlight and leaves. Laura walks through the tunnel and looks around every corner. Eventually, she finds all the diamonds piled up at the end of the drain. After this, we see men carrying boxes of diamonds out of the underground tunnel, and Laura sits on the steps wrapped in a blanket. Finch tells her he lost 5% of his fee because she found the diamonds. Laura is about to make a confession, but Finch stops her at the last moment.
Whatever it is you have to say, Miss Caine, now is not the right time to say it.
He says he wouldn't want her to spend the rest of her life behind bars. The man says goodbye and leaves. Laura remembers she has the large diamond in her pocket, but decides to keep it. After this, we see press reports that the diamonds weren't stolen, and they allow them to photograph the entire vault. Dmitriev is signing a contract again to cement his relationship with the company. Returning to the present day, Laura is talking with Cassie again. She tells her that a month later, she left the company as soon as she received a letter from a Swiss bank, informing her of a transfer of £100 million sterling to her account. Hobbs only needed revenge, not money. Laura hands Cassie the manuscript of her story for publication, hoping it will inspire other women too. In the end, we see that Laura donated all the money to worthy charitable organizations around the world. Cassie reads the last words of the manuscript and sees it says, "It's an amazing world. You'll either be a giver or a taker." She goes outside to find Laura, but she's already gone.